My parents expect me to babysit every weekend. I said no, now I'm the villain. You know what's wild? The moment you start saying no to your family, you automatically become selfish, ungrateful, and a disappointment. Bonus points if you're the mature one. Triple points if you're a daughter. I 21F have a little brother, let's call him Max. He's 3. And before you say awa, yes, he's adorable, yes, I love him, and no, I did not give birth to him, so I didn't sign up for co-parenting. My parents had Max kinda late. They're in their mid-40s now and honestly still figuring *T out. When my mom got pregnant with him, I was 17 and on my way out the door, prepping for college, dreaming of apartment life, maybe traveling, dadding, all that fun young adult stuff. And Max was born, and suddenly, it was like my life hit pause while theirs continued. I was expected to just, slide into the unpaid nanny role like it was some kind of family tradition. At first, it wasn't awful. I love Max. Babysitting here and there felt like helping out, being the good daughter. 2, maybe 3 weekends in a month, a few evenings here and there. I'd make excuses to friends, oh, I've got my brother this weekend, and they'd say, wow, you're such a good sister. I believed that, until it stopped being help and became duty. You know how boiling frogs works? You raise the temperature slowly and they don't even realize they're cooking. That's what happened to me. One weekend turned into every weekend. Then it was weekday nights too. Then it was, can you pick him up from daycare? Can you come over before work? Can you cancel your trip? We've got a thing. There was never a conversation about this. No, hey, are you okay with helping out more? Just assumptions. Quiet, suffocating assumptions. Meanwhile, I'm working part-time, studying full-time, commuting, and trying to have, a life. I'm not married. I don't have a kid. I shouldn't have to organize my laundry and homework around a toddler's nap schedule. But every time I pushed back, even just a little, I got hit with the guilt bomb arsenal. We raised you right. You think we didn't sacrifice for you? Family helps family. If not you, then who? God forbid, I bring up the fact that maybe they shouldn't have had another kid if they weren't ready to handle it without outsourcing parenting to their eldest daughter. It all came to a head 3 weekends ago. I had a 10-hour shift at work, rare for me, but I'd picked it up for extra cash. Inflation's eating me alive like everyone else. I told my mom about it earlier in the week and reminded her again Friday night. Hey, don't forget, I won't be available Saturday. I have that long shift. She said okay. She literally said okay. So you can imagine my surprise when 7:30 a.m. rolls around and I wake up to 5 missed calls and 3 texts, all from her. Where are you? Your dad and I have to go. Max is crying. Are you seriously ignoring me? I called her back half asleep, thinking someone had died. Where are you? She snaps. We have to be at the appointment in 20 minutes. I remind her, gently, but also kind of stunned, that I told her I'm working all day. She goes dead silent, then says, you should have reminded me again, you know I forget things. I just stared at my phone like, is this real life? She hung up, no apology, just hung up. I spent the rest of the day at work feeling like absolute garbage, not because I'd done something wrong, but because I knew that in her mind I'd broken my role. I'd been unreliable. I'd put myself first. And apparently, that's a crime. The funny thing is, I didn't even yell. I always thought that when I finally snapped, it would be this huge blow-up, screaming, crying, door slamming, maybe a dramatic exit. But it wasn't like that. It was quiet, like when something in you just clicks and you're done. You're past the point of arguing. It happened the following Tuesday. I was exhausted. My shift Saturday had drained me. Sunday was all studying and laundry and trying to remember to eat. Monday flew by in a haze. And then, out of nowhere, I get a call at 6 p.m. Mom, hey, can you come get Max? I have to run to the store real quick. Just like that. No, how are you? No, do you have time? Nothing. Like I'm a freaking Uber for toddlers. I was literally sitting in my apartment with a bowl of sad pasta, staring at my laptop, trying to finish a project that was due at midnight. I had class the next morning and work after that. I was behind on sleep, behind on dishes, behind on life. So I just said it. No, I can't. Silence. Mom, what? I said I can't. I'm busy. I told you this weekend that I'm drowning. Another pause. You know that heavy silence that feels louder than yelling. Yeah, that. Mom, so you're just going to let me figure this out by myself? He's not my child, Mom. Boom. There it was. I didn't say it to be cruel. I didn't raise my voice. But apparently I might as well have slapped her across the face, judging by her reaction. Mom, wow, after everything we've done for you. Here we go. You know what? She added, voice sharp like a knife. This is what we get for raising a selfish brat. It stung. God, it stung. And I hate that it did. Because I knew this moment would come eventually, the moment I put up a boundary and instantly became the bad guy. I'm not your nanny, I said quietly, and I'm tired of being treated like I am. She hung up on me. Again. I sat there, blinking at my phone, waiting for the guilt to flood in. Waiting for the crushing weight of shame, the "oh God, what did I do" spiral. But it didn't come. Instead, I felt peace. Weird, eerie kind of peace. Like I'd stepped outside a house that was always too loud. Of course, it didn't end there. That would have been too easy. Next day, my dad texted me a novella. "Your mom cried all night. She works so hard. We thought we raised you better. You've changed. This isn't the daughter we know." And then the cherry on top. "Max asked where you were. He misses you." Look, I know emotional manipulation when I see it. I grew up with it. My parents aren't evil. They just operate on this weird boomer logic where helping the family means giving up your entire life without complaint. But something in me had shifted. I wasn't playing that role anymore. So I did what I never thought I'd have the guts to do. I blocked them. Phone, Facebook, email, everything. Not forever, just until I could breathe. And for the first time in years, I slept through the night. It didn't start all at once. Honestly, if I go back far enough, I can pinpoint the exact moment it all changed. The day my mom sat me down with that sweet but slightly manipulative tone and said, "You're so good with Bobbies. You're going to be such a great mom someday." I was 17. Max wasn't even born yet, but the conditioning had already started. At first, I thought it was just pride. You know, the way parents like to brag about their kids being mature for their age. But I realize now it was also a setup, a way to plant the idea that taking care of others was my natural role. Then Max came along. I was halfway through senior year, planning prom, figuring out college applications, looking at campus photos and dreaming about freedom, and then boom, surprise sibling. Don't get me wrong, I love Max. That's never been the issue. But I didn't sign up to help raise a whole other human being. Still, when he was born, I tried to be the good daughter. I helped out, rocked him to sleep, changed a diaper or two. It was sweet, kind of even made me feel proud. But then it got heavier. "Can you feed him real quick while I jump in the shower? Can you take him for a walk while I nap? Can you stay home this weekend? Dad and I haven't had a date night in months." At first, it was all phrased as favors. But there's something funny about favors. If you say yes too often, people stop asking. It's not "could you" anymore, it's "you will." I remember one night, I was 18, fresh into college, commuting to save money, still living at home. My best friend was throwing a birthday party. First time in months we'd all be together. I'd picked out an outfit. I'd been texting this guy I really liked. Everything was set. Then my mom called me into the living room, Max on her hip, already in pajamas. "Can you stay tonight? He's teething, I'm exhausted." Just like that. I remember hesitating. I even said, "I really wanted to go tonight," and she looked at me like I'd kicked a puppy. "We're asking you for one night, and you're acting like we're ruining your life." I didn't go. I stayed, rocked Max for an hour, then cried quietly in my room while Instagram stories showed everyone having the time of their lives. That wasn't the last time either. I missed birthdays, group trips, study sessions. I canceled dates, called out of work once because mom just couldn't handle him today. And every single time I got upset, I was met with, "But you're so good with him. He loves you. This family needs you." It's a powerful thing, guilt. It doesn't show up with horns and flames. It shows up wrapped in love, in family, in the idea that you're the only one who can help. I didn't even notice I was fatting. Friends started seeing it before I did. One of them said, "You realize you've missed like 5 hangouts in a row. Are you okay?" I shrugged it off. It's just temporary. They need help right now. Right now turned into 3 years. I woke up on Saturday at 9:14 a.m. Voluntarily. No screaming, no diaper smell, no tiny fists banging on my door, just the soft hum of my apartment and sunlight filtering through the blinds. It was surreal. My body didn't even know how to react. For the last few years, my weekends began with either a text or a call. "Hey, we're dropping Max off at 8. You're up, right?" But now silence. I lay in bed for a while, just listening to nothing. It was the weirdest luxury. Eventually, I got up, made coffee that I didn't have to reheat 6 times, opened a book I'd been trying to finish for 6 months and actually read. Not just skimmed, read. Then around noon, I got dressed and went outside. I know this sounds ridiculous, but even just walking through my neighborhood felt new, like I was rediscovering my own life. There was this little cafe down the street I'd passed 100 times on my way to class or work. I'd never actually been inside. I went in, ordered a vanilla latte, sat by the window, watched people come and go, no rush, no guilt. And for the first time in a long time, I caught my reflection in the glass, and I saw me. Not the exhausted girl who smelled like spit up and baby wipes. Not the makeshift nanny who canceled her dates and rescheduled her life to be there for the family. Just me. I texted a couple of friends I hadn't seen in forever, the ones who'd mostly stopped inviting me out because the answer was always, sorry, I have to babysit. We met up that evening for tacos and margaritas. They were shocked to see me. Holy crap, you're alive. You look like lighter. Is that weird to say? I laughed, not weird at all. Over dinner, we talked about everything and nothing. Books, work drama, one friend's breakup, another friend's new job. And for the first time in forever, I didn't feel like an outsider in my own friend group. Later that night, half drunk and way too full, we ended up back at my place, streaming rom-coms and screaming at the TV like teenagers. It felt good, dumb and light and free. At some point, one of my friends, Jules, nudged me and said, Sue, you gonna get back on the apps now that you're, not mommying every weekend? I snorted. God, maybe. It's been so long I forgot how dadding even works. But the idea stayed with me. The next morning, still groggy and hair-tousled, I found myself re-downloading a dadding app I hadn't touched in over a year. My bio was tragic. Full-time student, part-time ghost. But I updated it. New photos, witty line, hit save. And then I paused. Because for the first time in years, the idea of meeting someone didn't feel like an impossible dream squeezed between babysitting and burnout. It felt real, possible, like something for me. And yeah, maybe it's cheesy, but sitting there in my messy kitchen, phone in hand, surrounded by coffee mugs and good energy, I smiled. Not because I'd matched with anyone yet, but because I'd finally matched with myself. It started with a text from my aunt. Hey, sweetie, hope you're doing okay. I just saw your mom the other day. She looked really upset. Said she hasn't heard from you in a while. Just wanted to check in. I stared at the screen for a while. I hadn't blocked my entire family, just my parents, but now I was seeing the ripple effect, the guilt relay. 2 days later, it was a neighbor, Mrs. Ray from down the street, who ran into me while I was walking home with groceries. Hi, honey. Oh, it's so good to see you. Your mom's been so worried. She says she misses you. Poor thing, she even cried the other day, said she doesn't understand what she did wrong. That one stung more than I expected. Because a part of me wanted to believe that maybe it wasn't manipulation, that maybe she genuinely didn't understand. But the thing is, I told her. Over and over again. I told her I was overwhelmed, that I needed space, that I was exhausted from being expected to parent her child. I told her what I was sacrificing. I cried in front of her. I canceled plans, broke down in bathrooms, fell behind on schoolwork, and I still kept showing up. And every time I tried to draw a boundary, she either ignored it or made me feel guilty for even having needs. So no, this wasn't a misunderstanding. This was cause and effect. Still, the emotional whiplash was real. That same night, I got a voicemail from my dad, first one since the fallout. I'm not trying to take sides, but your mom's not doing great. She keeps saying she lost her daughter. I know things got tense, but maybe it's time to talk. Family's supposed to stick together. And there it was. The classic line, family above all. Even when that family takes and takes until you have nothing left. I didn't respond. Instead, I sat with the silence. Not the cold, punishing kind. The kind that wraps around you like a blanket. The kind you get when you choose it, when you finally stop trying to explain yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you. I thought about all the times I'd given in before. All the times I'd felt like the villain, just for wanting to be a person outside of their narrative. And I realized something. I wasn't the villain. I was just the first one to say no. The next Sunday came and went. No texts, no calls, just the quiet hum of my apartment, a half-full cup of coffee, and an open laptop where I was finally catching up on assignments I'd put off for weeks. In the corner of my screen, a photo popped up, one of those memories notifications. It was from 2 years ago, Max on my hip, both of us covered in flour from some failed baking experiment. I was smiling, but I remember that day I'd missed an important group project meeting for that batch of cookies. Got reamed by my professor, got ghosted by my group. I looked happy, but I was. That's the thing with survival. You can get real good at pretending everything's fine. I clicked out of the photo. And for the first time in a long time, I didn't feel the urge to message, to explain, to fix. Because I wasn't broken. I wasn't cruel. I wasn't cold. I was just done being responsible for everyone else's comfort, but my own. It took me years to understand this, but I get it now. Being born into a family doesn't mean you owe them your peace. Love doesn't mean self-erasure. And helping shouldn't feel like drowning in silence while everyone else learns how to swim using your back as a life raft. Yes, they raised me. Yes, they gave me food and clothes and a roof. But I gave them me. My weekends, my energy, my sleep, my sense of safety, my youth. When I needed understanding, I got obligations. When I asked for space, I got guilt. When I drew a line, they handed it to someone else to cross. So no, I'm not going back. Maybe they'll never get it. Maybe the rest of the family will always whisper that I'm dramatic or ungrateful or too sensitive. But here's what I know. Since I stopped answering those calls, I've been sleeping better. I've been laughing more. I've been living. And slowly, quietly, I've been finding my people. Friends who show up. Coworkers who listen. Guy I met last week who asked me what I wanted and actually waited for an answer. It's still messy. Healing usually is. But every day, I feel a little more like myself, not the version they needed or the one I became to survive. Just me. And that's enough.